Hi guys, if the right wing are not attacking immigrants, they're attacking people on benefits. And if they're not attacking people on benefits, they're attacking students on benefits. So this is exactly what Julie Hartley-Brewer and her friend from a right-wing think tank are doing here. And of course, they're talking absolute tripe. Have a listen to this.
Let's talk about benefits Britain. More than 600,000 graduates are now claiming benefits. This also comes as a new poll suggests that 1 in 4 young Brits could leave the country because they just don't feel they've got a future here, can't afford to buy a home, worried about their finances, don't feel this as a country is going anywhere. Well, let's talk about all of this with Maxwell Marlowe, who's Director of Public Affairs at the Adam Smith Institute. Very, very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Julia. How are you?
I'm very well indeed. I'm obviously doing better than an awful lot of these young Brits who are 18 to 30-year-olds and others who are, frankly, feeling rather despondent. Let's talk first of all about the the 600,000 graduates who were claiming benefits. Now, I didn't find the job I wanted straight after uni, but I didn't claim benefits. I worked as a waitress, I worked as a temp secretary. I did every job I had to do to scrape by with my rent and pay some of...
Okay. There are 2 reasons why people are claiming benefits. One is they can't find a job, and the other is they can find a job, but it's not keeping up with the cost of living crisis. So while you, back in the 1980s or 1990s, were able to get by on whatever money that you did earn, and it's possible she also got support from her family, but anyway, let's say she didn't. Times were different. You could work and pay your way, pay your rent. Rents were much lower back in the 80s and 90s. It's very difficult for people to get by today, even if they have a good paying job. Now, imagine students who just come out, they have debt, they're having trouble finding a job, they need support. And those who are working also need support because wages are so low in respect to the cost of living crisis.
The debts off, but these are people who've gone to university, got a load of debt, got a degree, a piece of paper they assumed was worth something, and now they're not working. Are they all on the dole, or are they on sickness benefits? What are they doing?
Yeah, so a lot of these young people are on the dole, actually. They can't find work. And, it's all very good to say, benefits Britain, they're being lazy. There is an element of that, don't get me wrong. But actually what this actually speaks to is the massive increase in employers' national insurance that has been striking a lot of those low-paid work. I mean, you just said, Julia.
But this has been going on for years. So you can't lay this all at the government's door. What they're trying to do, the Adam Smith Institute, which is, of course, a right-wing think tank, and wants, to cut taxes for the rich and, to deregulate. They're trying to sell, they're trying to sell the idea that, well, it all happened all of a sudden. No, this has been a problem for a long time.
Yeah, you were a waitress when you couldn't find a job. When I was at school, I worked behind a bar, I worked in a hotel. I know for a fact now that a lot of hospitality businesses are shuttering at record rates. Yeah. Because they can't afford to employ these staff.
So
No, it's not just that because they can't afford to employ the staff. Because of, for example, Brexit, both of these people support Brexit. I know at least one of them does. It's more difficult for businesses to operate now. There's also been a complete and utter change in society when it comes to hospitality. For example, partly because of the cost of living crisis. Fewer people are going out to restaurants. Pubs are struggling because fewer and fewer young people are drinking, either for economic reasons or they have decided, I'm not going to drink alcohol anymore. So society is changing. So businesses will have to keep up. And if they want to attract the workers they need, they're going to have to pay higher wages. But also, it's difficult for businesses to operate because people have less disposable cash.
A lot of the jobs that they would be doing, they're not getting. And one of the other issues I found in a previous incarnation at another station, talking to people who were saying, I'm 26, 27, I can't get a job. And a lot of them be young people saying, well, I've got a degree and I don't see why I should work as a waiter or work in a bar or work in a sandwich shop. I've got.
I don't believe that for a moment. I know a lot of people who have degrees. And this isn't just in the UK, it's in Europe as well. And they're willing to do. I know somebody who has 2 degrees and was working in a supermarket packing shelves. So I don't buy for a moment this idea that, people have a degree and they're like, I'm not going to do work that's below me. maybe there are some examples of that, but the vast majority of people want to do something because they don't want to be on benefits, because the benefits don't cover sufficiently the cost of living crisis. They have to ask for support from their family, or they have to try and do some sort of work. I think there's a significant number of young people who are working as well, but because the pay is so low, or so low in respect to the cost of living crisis, that they're claiming universal credit because it's not possible to live on such wages.
Qualification, and what they've got is a 2-2 in media studies from a former polytechnic, and they've been sold the lie that is going to be worthwhile to any future employer. Brackets, it's not, close brackets, but they think, but I'm a graduate.
So what now the thing is, oh well, look, they have stupid degrees, so it's their fault. Okay, like they have been told for a long time, if you want to find a job, you need to have a degree. So people went out and got degrees, and now they can't find the jobs. Now, there are a number of reasons why they can't find jobs, because many jobs are not available. Businesses aren't able to employ people. Businesses are also unwilling to employ people who don't have skills. How many times have you seen jobs where it's like, under 25 with 10 years experience required, stuff like that. Businesses don't want to take on people who don't have the skills because they're a risk at a time when, businesses are struggling. So this is a problem for young people. And then, of course, the elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about, automation and AI. A number of paralegal positions have disappeared. These are positions where young people straight out of university would get on the property ladder when it comes to law, and they are being outsourced to AI. Not all of them, but a significant number. And what that does is it puts pressure in other areas. So young people who would normally go into the legal section of the economy would now have to go somewhere else, and then they're searching for jobs that are already in short supply. So they're putting more and more pressure. And this is happening not just in the legal profession, it's happening all over the place.
Graduate, I'm too good to do those jobs, I don't have to do those jobs. There are a lot of young people who don't understand that any job is better than no job, and that you need to...
But they're already doing these jobs. Lots of people are doing jobs while claiming benefits. And a lot of people can't find... We already know that they can't find jobs. There are a whole range of reasons for that.
Start at the bottom. And yes, sometimes you will just be making people tea and doing some more menial tasks before you move on in your career.
Yeah, totally. I mean, let's look at some of the degrees that people are getting from these Mickey Mouse degrees. A lot of people could say photography, for example. That's one that it...
Sorry, why is photography a Mickey Mouse degree? Like, I thought he was going to come up with something ridiculous, like, you see in the Daily Mail, like grass cutting or something like that. No, it's photography. That's the one he went to. Like, these people are in the media and they're criticizing the idea of somebody having a degree in photography. Both of them, or at least one of them, is sitting in front of a frigging camera and they're talking about a photography degree being a Mickey Mouse one. He works for the Adam Smith Institute. I'm pretty sure they have photographers for their photo opportunities. And he's criticizing it as I would love to know the opinion of the person who works with him in the media department, where he's describing their degree as Mickey Mouse. Like photography?
That is the lowest paying coming out. I mean, data from Adzuna, which is an aggregate of a lot of these degrees, £23,000 a year after graduation. It's nothing, basically. And
I would have dreamt. I was on £9,000 in my local paper. And I know, even allowing for the fact it was a different generation ago, quite a few.
Yes, because the cost of living 20 or 30 years ago, £9,000 would allow you to pay your rent and feed yourself. Now it would not. And if you're earning £23,000 or whatever the going rate for a photographer is in London, people can't get by on that. On the one hand, people are being told you need to get a degree in order to get a job. You need to have experience in order to get a job. And at the same time, no one's talking about AI and robotics and automation, which are taking people's jobs. it's going to become more and more difficult for young people to get on the on the career ladder. And what are they hearing in the media? You're lazy, you have a Mickey Mouse degree, and you need to get a job. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated, and I'll see you in the next video.